Welcome to Here's the Deal. I'm Laura Barnes with Leadership Beyond Sport. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is coaching. I think I say every topic is my favorite topic, but it's my show, so they can all be my favorites. So today we're going to talk about coaching. And I'm going to bring in a minute here one of my favorite people who I've worked with in the past. He was one of the first coaches I ever hired and has had a huge impact on my life, both as a coach and now as a friend and mentor. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on JB Braden with Beyond the Field Coaching. Hi, JB. How you doing?
Laura, I'm great. Good to see you as always.
You too. How's life? How are things?
Life is wonderful. When you're doing what you love, life is wonderful.
Amen. Amen. So as I said before I brought you on, you run the company Beyond the Field Coaching. So tell us a little bit about what you do in the coaching space, the types of clients you work with, the types of results that you help them achieve as a coach.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, my name of my company is Beyond the Field Coaching. I also have a sub company called Speak with a Purpose. I'm a international speaker, international inspirational speaker, and speaker coach. And I do speaker coaching. Specifically, I help entrepreneurs who want to use speaking as a marketing strategy to grow their business. I show them how to craft a signature presentation the right way, in a way that presentation is going to not only inspire, engage, educate, and entertain the audience, but also convert, and also show them how to get in front of the right audience with the right message, which is very important when you want to use speaking to grow your business. Very important when you want to have people in your audience take another step with you, whether it be a coaching program, a workshop, a retreat, selling a book, whatever the case may be. So that's what I do with my entrepreneurs. And then I have a also my other target market is CEOs, C-suite executive, and their leadership teams, helping them up level their what we like to call their executive presence. They're standing in front of a group of audience, and they're doing some presentations. How can we up level that? How can we make it better? How can we help them show up and communicate effectively the message that they want to deliver to their audience? If it's a sales presentation, how can we help you make sure that that presentation is designed to convert at a high level? So those are the two audiences I work with: entrepreneurs and CEO, C-suite executive leadership teams.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And I love the fact that you talk about, like you said, the success that you get helping them to up level, whether it's an entrepreneur trying to up level in terms of sales, revenue, building their business, or the C suite team working towards up leveling just their presence. I think that's awesome. And what really got you into coaching?
Well, I have a background in sports coaching. I used to coach. I coached my son when he was younger in football and basketball, and did that for a long time. And then along the way, I got into coaching girls fast pitch softball, and coached that for a long time, over 20 years. Created my own travel organization, me and a couple of buddies, and so just from coaching sports, I knew and realized that I had a passion and a gift and a talent for coaching. And so when my sports coaching was done, all of my players aged out and moved on up, and now they all have their own families. And my son moved on; he's got his own family. I knew that I wanted to still do some coaching because that's my calling, it's my gift, that's my passion, as I said. And so I started looking into coaching, and I found life coaching, and I'm like, oh, this is something. Let me check it out. Started reading into it, looking at how to get certified. I was like, that's my next step. And so I got certified as a life coach. And so that's how I got started coaching. And now I say, because I love coaching people to create success. That's what I did when I was coaching sports. So I coached them on how to be the best they could be at the sport, but also how to be great individuals after the sport. And now I get to work with people like yourself and individuals who want to up level whatever they're doing, especially in the realm of speaking. So that's how I got started, and I love it.
Very cool. And kind of the how we got connected conversation, which I love this story because you were a speaker at an event that I participated in,
Right.
and I saw you speaking from stage, and I was like, I need to know that guy. And so I went and talked to you at the table that you had after the event and just said, hey, like introduced myself, gave you my information. You reached out to me. And it was the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yes.
But we did, we did the intake call and I was talking about growing my business and wanting to kind of take the next step with where I was. I'll be perfectly honest, I was not in a place to hire a coach. I was going through some stuff at that point. I was like, I don't know about this, but I think that's one of the best things that's really the time to hire a coach is when you're not really sure how you're going to make it work, but you're like, damn it, I'm committed to the success. So I hired you. We worked together, I think, for about a year. And one of the things that really drew me to wanting to work with you, besides your stage presence, was I was moving into this space of wanting to work in sports. I was working in player engagement, player development. And I thought to myself, like, I need a coach who more closely resembles my target market. And primarily, like, I wanted to work with male athletes. And I was like, I had a female coach at one point. I was like, well, she's not going to be able to give me a male perspective on anything I'm talking about. So for me, that was a huge draw. And the fact that your company was beyond the field coaching, I was like, there's something sport related here. So we need to talk. So those were the connection points for me. And I always like to talk about that because I think that, with the field of life coaching growing so much and with so many coaches out there offering so many different things, it's like information overload. And so that's,
Right.
How do you, obviously that was my process for deciding how to work with you. For me, I've hired a number of coaches over the years and it's always been either you're helping me get to a certain result or I resonate with your style. And I'm willing to listen to you because there are some people that are just super abrasive and I'm like, we're not going to work well together.
Right.
But for you, what advice would you give to somebody as far as what to look for if they're thinking about hiring a coach for a specific area of improvement in their life?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, first of all, like you said, that synergy and that chemistry is very important. So you want to make sure that you have the synergy and the chemistry with them, and that's one thing. And then be clear on the result you want from the coaching. And because if you're clear on the result you want from the coaching, then you can ask the questions that will lend to whether that person can give you those results, help you get those results, so to speak. And so that's very important. But you also want to make sure the person has some experience in what type of coaching you want to do. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of coaches say, well, I do this, and this. But you want to make sure that experience lends to you. People that have gone where you want to go is very helpful. Okay. Which, I mean, quite frankly, is what makes me a good speaker coach. I've been speaking for over 25 years. I've been training speakers for a long time. I know a lot about speaking. Okay. Yeah. I know how to craft a presentation. I know all the technical things about speaking, which makes me a good coach. Aside from the fact that I've worked at the craft of coaching and I've trained and had a lot of practice. But so, for instance, if you want to hire an executive coach, make sure it's somebody that has experience in coaching executives. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. Or have not just experience in coaching executives, but experience in working with people at that level or whatever the case may be. So the credibility is also good. And what I mean by that is making sure that they can produce what you want because they have the experience to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously lots of things to look for. The synergy is huge. Yeah. I know, like, the thing that's kind of vulnerable about coaching is that you really should be in a relationship with a coach, a very professional relationship, but a relationship where you feel like you honestly can say, like, this is what's really bumming me out right now, or this is what I'm struggling with, or this is why I don't want to take that step. Like, you're telling me to do something and I'm not ready to do that. And I love it. You and I have gotten to a point where we're not working together in a professional sense right now, but we've become colleagues and friends over the years. And I will never forget, there have been a few times where I'll send you a message and I'm like, JB, I need an attitude adjustment, which means I need somebody to call me on my shit. I need somebody to be like, Laura, you're in your own head. You're being dumb. Right. And that's my style, obviously. Like, I'm very direct and very to the point, but and you and I have evolved that relationship over the years where I can say that to you and you know exactly what I mean. Exactly. But I think the first time I said it to you, you were like, wait a minute, what does that mean? But yeah, I think that synergy is important, and meeting somebody and working with somebody who you're willing to be honest and vulnerable with, because it's the only way you're going to get results in any kind of relationship. But what's your take on that?
Oh, that's very important. If you can't be honest and upfront as a coach and as a coaching client, that relationship's not going to last.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and like you said, sometimes we got to have coaches. You have to, when you find a coach, they have to have the ability to encourage you, kick you in the ass when you need it, right?
Yeah.
Lead you, okay, inspire you, and all of those different things that are necessary, and keep you on track.
Mm-hmm.
If you say you want to do this, then I'll help you get there. And
Right.
this is what we need to do. One of the best things you can do when you're looking for a coach, let's just go back to that question, is first of all, get some referrals. I would say get anywhere from 3 to 5 referrals and interview each coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I would say. That's how you find your style, that sort of thing. Or like you did with me, you experienced me from stage. We connected. We had a call. Okay, and so you had an opportunity to get to know me, my style, that sort of thing. And so those are the types of interactions you want be able to have the opportunity to interact with them. But the referrals are the best. But I would say if you're not sure what style you want to work with, get you several referrals and interview them. That's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing my coaching certification. One of the things they said is go get you a coach. Coaches need to have coaches. Absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I interviewed 5 coaches. I interviewed the 5 top coaches. Okay,
Of course.
that was highly rated because I wanted to work with the best, because I want to be the best. And so I interviewed all 5 of them. They were all 5 very good, but I found the one that fit me in my chemistry and synergy, and my energy and my vibe as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And so obviously you talked about your content, the area that you focus on. My coaching, I focus a lot on leadership development, a lot on personal growth, just new ways of looking at old problems. But why do you think, or what are some of the reasons why someone would hire a coach? Maybe what are some common challenges that people would be going through when they would start looking for a coach? And when should they start looking for a coach?
Well, you kind of alluded to it. Because you said I wasn't in a position to hire a coach, but I was committed to the success. And so that's when you need to hire a coach. When you realize I'm committed to my success, I'm committed to my growth.
Right.
Okay, and so that's when you need to hire a coach, or you should hire a coach.
We help you get to the win.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And so that's one thing, is when you're committed to growing. And for anyone who wants to be better, whether it be in business, whether it be in life, whatever the case may be, hiring a coach is absolutely essential to your growth. Okay. And people will probably say, well, he's saying that because he's a coach. No, I'm saying this because I've learned a lot. And I would not be where I am today if I hadn't had the insight from coaches. Because see, here's the thing. We only know so much. We can only learn so much as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And to be able to learn more, grow, meet potential, max our potential, which I don't even like to use the word max our potential, but just really grow to get to where we want to go in life. We need other people. We need other people around us because they can give us a different perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. Help us see things from a different view. And what I love to say about coaches is coaches can help you find your blind spot. I'll give you a perfect example of why it's so important to have a coach. Okay. You know this story already, but I've been speaking for over 20 years. And when I started my coaching business, I had been speaking for about 15 years. I had spoken to over 1 million people around the country. And so I made the decision to use coaching. I not coaching, to use speaking as a way of growing my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get out there and speak and then have people sign up for my coaching services. But what I realized was I was not converting at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
not at the level at which I needed to convert. So what did I do? I found a coach that specialized in crafting the presentation in a way that it'll convert at a high level. Now think about that for a minute. Here I'm a guy who has been speaking for over 15 years, have spoken all across the country to over 1 million people. But there was still something in speaking that I didn't know.
Yep.
And that's the point. No matter how high you get, there's always something you can learn. And when you have that mentality and that attitude, finding the right coach that can get you over the hump is so important. Look at all the professional athletes. Golfers have swing coaches. Okay? Because you just need that other outside view that can help you see things that you can't see because you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's so true. You know, when we look, people are like, oh, well, I have a great friend group. My friends are awesome at giving me advice. Like, cool. But have your friends done the things that you're trying to do? You're trying to start a business and get to 6 figures in income. Do you have anybody in your life who's a 6-figure earner as an entrepreneur? There's a difference between being surrounded by your bros or your girlfriends and lamenting all the crap that's going on and having somebody be like, you should just dump him, or you should just get a new job and you'll make more money. But having somebody who is completely outside of your normal sphere, because your tribe is great. Like, your tribe is meant to support you. If you don't have a tribe that supports you, find a new tribe. But your tribe is there to support you, to help you grow in different ways. But like you said, a coach can see your blind spots, and a coach can call you on the things and be like, you're the thing standing in your own way. Right. Or it's your mindset, or maybe it is your tribe. Like, maybe the people you're hanging out with who are all broke and not seeing success, maybe that's part of the reason why you're struggling to see success with yourself. Right. But your best friends aren't going to tell you, like, I'm broke, you shouldn't hang out with me if you want to make more money. Right. Like, so having a coach, having somebody as a trusted advisor, I mean, that's really what they are. Like, you have a trusted advisor for relationships. Maybe you have a trusted advisor, hopefully, for finances. You have a trusted advisor for your personal development, for your business development. And they probably shouldn't all be the same person. You should have different advisors. But so having a coach is just sort of like adding another member to your advisory network who you can call on for support and guidance. And, you can get really lasered in on what the issue is and help to work through it. Yeah. So a lot of people talk to me when I talk about coaching. They say, so what's the difference between a coach and a therapist? And I have my perspective on this. What's your perspective on that? How do you answer?
I love that question. I used to get that question all the time when I first started coaching.
Yep.
Okay. And here's my answer. Here's one that I heard and I stole it because I love it. Right. So the difference between a therapist and a coach is this. A therapist is the why person. Okay, they're gonna dig into why this happened. They're gonna take you back and childhood or whatever their method is. But it's all about why this happened. So they're the why guy, the why girl. Mm-hmm. Coaches are the how, what, when, where person. Okay, I want to go here. Okay, here's how you do it. Here's when I want to get there. Okay. Here's what we need to do. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're here and you want to get here. That's a coach. If you're dealing with some things that happened in the past that you can't get past, that's your therapist.
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to bring you from what you're hanging on to in the past up to the present. Okay. And how do you cope with those things? If it's a trauma that you dealt with that's causing you some type of fear, how do you deal with that, cope with that, and so that you can now move forward? Mm-hmm. And then when you're ready to move forward, that's what coaches do.
Yeah, exactly. I have a similar saying that therapists help you unpack the stuff that's already happened. Yeah. Coaches help you get to the next point. They help you move forward to where you want to go. So yeah, similar. I'm glad to hear that we have a similar line of thinking on that.
I love that.
And which brings me to another question. So, obviously, like I think that it's safe to say pretty much all of us have experienced some type of trauma in our lives, whether
Yeah.
it's massive or minor. That's to be determined. That's kind of each their own. But as a coach, and I think this kind of goes maybe into the ethical space of coaching, at what point, like, how am I trying to say this? There's a point where you refer out, where you say, like, you know what, the issue that you're dealing with is not something that we can work with in coaching. It's something that does require a mental health specialist.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that? Do you have a network of people that you work with? How do you manage that conversation? Or what should a client look for if they're working with a coach? What would be the right way for a coach to handle that if it comes out that, you know, there's something deeper going on that a coach truly is not qualified to handle?
That goes back to the honesty and being upfront. Okay. And to answer the first part of your question, I've consciously built a network of people that I can reach out and to say, hey, I got somebody that needs your expertise.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have that, you do know enough people to be able to say, hey, do you know anyone in this field or in this type of therapist or whatever the case may be? Okay. For instance, I have a couple of therapists in my network that specialize in PTSD. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And several years ago, I had a guy come to me, and he was suffering with PTSD. And so this is the second part of your question. I looked at him and said, I don't specialize in that. Okay. And so what I love to do to make sure that you get what you need to get to where you want to get to is refer you to a couple of people that specialize and have experience in dealing with people with PTSD, and did that. And that's the professional thing to do.
Yeah.
And most people, 99.9% of the time, understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It didn't mean that we couldn't work together, but it meant that he needed to work with somebody else on that particular part in order for our work to be effective.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, 99.9% of people respect that. It's like you don't go to a vegan restaurant and ask for steak, right? Like the vegan restaurant can only give you vegan food. So if you want steak, you're at the wrong place.
Right.
So it's about knowing, what you need and trusting the person, the coach that you're working with, that they hopefully have your best interests at heart, and will refer you to people who can help you with whatever you're challenged with. So my other question for you is, we've talked about hiring coaches to help you get to that next level, to help you with, various areas of success. Talk about, so what's the typical demographic that you work with age-wise? And then how do you think somebody maybe 10 to 15 years, maybe even 20 years younger than that demographic might benefit from working with a coach?
Oh, wow. For me right now, it just so happens that the age range that I work with now, because most of my people are successful entrepreneurs or CEOs, right? And so naturally they're in their 40s and up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's just because that's my target market,
right.
And those are naturally the people. They're in the place where they need my help. Okay, it's not to say that I wouldn't work with a 22-year-old who wants to learn how to speak. I would, yeah. And so, but it just so happened that most of them, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of 22-year-olds that aspire to be six-7-figure entrepreneurs.
They aspire to it. They just have no clue how to get there, I think.
Right. And if they do, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that shows how to do it when it comes to speaking. Right.
Right.
And so that's what it really comes down to. Right. If you aspire to do it, then just you got to seek it out and find those people and put that on your radar so mm-hmm. that people know I'm looking for a coach that does this, or this.
So how do you think that somebody in their 20s might benefit from coaching, or what types of coaching do you think a 20-something-year-old would benefit from? Obviously, if they're not in that space of becoming a six-figure entrepreneur and they're not, on the fast track to the C-suite, which I think a lot of them believe they are, which they may be. But what kind of coaching do you think somebody in their 20s would benefit the most from at that age?
For somebody in their 20s, I think they would benefit the most from just basic, and I'm not going to say just basic, but life coaching. Okay. Get with a life coach and start to talk to them about what you want to create in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. whether it's from a personal relationship standpoint, whether it's from a financial standpoint, okay, business standpoint, whatever the case may be, and talk with them and have them help direct you, okay,
Yeah.
set goals and help you achieve those goals for where you want to go. So working with a general life coach would be great for somebody in their 20s, because now not only do you get experience with working with a coach, but they can start to help you formulate what you want to do, where you want to go in your life, and what you want to create in your life. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times we don't know how to get started. We have a vision of where we want to go, or we think we do, but we need some help. We need some help at basic things like putting together a plan of action. Okay, we may be good at writing a goal. This is the goal I want, but are we good at bringing that goal back to where this is what you need to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis to get to that 2 year goal or that 12-month goal or whatever the case may be?
Hmm.
Coaches are very good at helping you do that. And
Yeah.
so those are some key things, and being able to do that. And then when you get to where you're specialized, let's say you get to where, then when you get to grow to where you have a business, and then you need a specialized business coach or whatever the case may be. But general life coaching would be great for anyone in their 20s.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, at that age, there's also a level of you you lack experience just because you haven't been on this planet as long as
Right.
others. So there's a lack of experience, which can lead to a lack of confidence. And so having somebody who can help you to identify the things about you that make you really talented, really great,
Yeah.
to help bolster your confidence so that you're willing to take those next steps. I personally wish I'd found coaching at least 7 or 8 years sooner than I did.
Yeah, me too.
Found it in my early 20s or even in college because there were just certain things that I didn't trust myself to take the
Right.
big leaps. I didn't trust myself through, for whatever reason. And the only people I had to rely on were my friends who were in the same boat, who were also not taking those risks and not
Right.
taking those leaps. So
Right.
there's something to be said for finding a coach when you're younger who can give you the sense of like the confidence, the like, hey, you can do this. You're capable of handling this. And let's break down why. Like let's look at those different things that make you capable so that hopefully you can accelerate whatever timeline you're looking at. Like let's say you do want to get to the C-suite. Instead of it being a 15-year journey, maybe it's only a 10-year journey if you're working with a coach to really hone in, like you said, on those goals,
Right.
creating those action plans, developing the confidence within yourself to take those next steps.
And I'm gonna quantify one of the things that I said a few minutes ago, and then I'm gonna add on to what you just said. Um, I said anyone in their 20s could benefit from working with a general life coach. I'm gonna change that. Anyone in their 20s who want to be better and grow in life. Because there's a lot of people out there. Let's just be honest. Let's be real. There's a lot of people out there. They don't want more than what they have,
Right. Complacency is fine. We need people who are complacent.
and
Like
that's okay.
if we had 7 billion overachievers on this planet, we would die. Like it would be terrible.
Right. And so that's okay. But for the person who really wants to create success, grow personally, financially, educationally, all of it, spiritually, emotionally, all those different things, then if you fit in that boat where you're in growth mode, okay, you want to create something better than what you have, then having a coach can speed up that process.
Right.
Okay. And so that's why it's so important, because it can really speed up the learning curve of where you want to go. And that's priceless,
Yep.
because time is money. Right. And if
Yep.
you can have somebody help you speed up the process of where you want to get to, which coach can help you do that, then that's priceless.
Absolutely. Well, JB, that's about the end of our time for today. So do you have any final thoughts or comments on coaching, why people should hire coaches, the benefits, the advantages? Obviously, we will pop your contact information down in the description so people know where to find you if they are ready for that six-figure entrepreneur life. But any final thoughts before we wrap up today?
I think we did a good job of covering it. Oh, I will say this as a final thought, because I was thinking about this when we were talking, just real quick. Most everybody grows up and we develop some type of limiting beliefs or fears from the environment in which we grow up in, right? And so a lot of times, most of the time, we don't know how those fears or limiting beliefs are showing up in our life.
Mm-hmm.
If for no other reason, that's a great reason to work with a coach.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you may have a limiting belief around money that you're not aware of. Well, a coach can help you unpack that. And that can really speed up your process, because once you get rid of those things that are holding you back, you can soar. So I would say that.
Absolutely. Well, JB, thank you so much for your time today. As always, it's a pleasure to chat with you. And I know I will be talking to you again soon. And like I said, we'll put all your contact information in the comments below. What is your website? If you want to just blurt that out really fast before we wrap up.
Absolutely. It's beyondthefieldcoaching.com.
Perfect.
And you can reach me at jb@beyondthefieldcoaching.com as well.
Awesome. So we will make sure that your information is there for those who are interested in working with you. And thank you so much for your time. Love having you as part of my network, and very proud to call you one of my friends.
Always a pleasure. And I'm proud to call you a friend and a colleague as well.
Thanks, JB. We'll talk soon.
All right. You got it.